Hello. So this is the Lineofaction app, and I would like for you all to do a draw along with me. This is a gesture drawing app that I've used for several years now, and it's pretty amazing. And this is one of the apps specifically a website that I use to learn how to understand the figure and understanding hands. So I would like for you guys to join in on drawing hands. It's set for class mode, so it will only last 30 minutes. And throughout the 30 minutes, there will be, I believe, 10 pictures for 30-second gestures, hand gestures. And it will be about another 10, I think, for 1 minute. And then a set amount for 2, and then a set amount for 5, and 1 for 10. And yeah. I use this app to help me figure out how hands go, the easiest way to draw hands, especially in quick speed. Specifically because speed, gesture helps put movement to your still drawings. Having the gesture helps you have a guide to fixing your figure to a more polished state in the future. And doing the 30-second drawings of even something as simple, well, not as simple because hands are very complex, but as something as hands, it definitely helps you with an understanding. You'll still need to do some anatomy studies involving hands, but understanding the quick shapes that hands are formed of, or using techniques to help break down the hand, and being forced to draw hands in such a limited time period, you really get creative with drawing it. Your hands don't have to look accurate. They don't have to look complete or polished. It is just simply about putting the pen on the paper and just getting down and drawing them. Now, you can use several different techniques with drawing them. I tend to, like for this hand currently right now, I tend to draw a line to accentuate the negative space of where the hand or where the fingers are specifically supposed to go. I typically draw the thumb first and use like a blocky outline. So like for this one, I used a square shape, and then I would focus on where the thumb is supposed to go, just to get the drawing down. It isn't until later down the line, when we have more time to fix and polish the hands, that more focus and detail will be applied. So for now, I say just draw along. You don't have to copy what I'm doing on this section. This section is literally just so that you can get into the habit of drawing hands. No matter your state level of drawing hands, if you're good, if you're bad, it doesn't matter at this stage. This stage is literally just so that you can warm up and break the ice and face your fears and not be scared to draw something that is very complex and very annoying, something that we all hide in, our paintings, whether it's like behind the body or we hide it, behind a certain item. But this is just, breaking the ice, as I said before. It's just getting you to face your fears. Now, as more time has started to be added to the gesture drawing portion, I start adding shadows and shades. So basically what I tend to do is I like to keep my stuff very sketchy. Even you guys, I'm sure, have noticed that even in my painting process that I still keep the sketch lines in there. You don't have to polish your paintings to where they are completely perfect looking, to where there's no lines, no anything. It is literally just how you express your artwork, or you express yourself through your artwork. And I personally ain't got time for all that. I don't like finished polished pieces to a certain extent. I am fine with leaving lines in my work. So the same is applied to how I draw hands, feet, and other gestures, is that I don't necessarily have to have it fully completed to the point where it is hyper realistic. To me, when stuff gets hyper realistic, it gets kind of boring. You're very tedious. It's a very tedious, very focused process, and I am no longer in my art journey to where I want to make things hyper realistic. I want things to look animated. I want things to have a certain flair. I don't know what that flair is, because I don't think that I have a particular style when it comes to genre, but I just want my stuff to be mine. So what I'm going to start doing is, if there's time left, instead of trying to fix the picture, well, I'm still technically fixing the picture, but instead of hyper focusing on the picture being exactly like the image, I'm starting to fill up the aspect of the line with just shading. That way you get the impression of what the hand is supposed to look like. And I don't have to draw the exact form of the hand, just simple shapes and strokes. Using simple shapes and strokes to create a at least recognizable hand. Now we're officially in our first extremely long hand drawing. Best of luck to you guys that are following along and being adventurous and drawing hands in this way. All I can say is don't stress yourself out. Like I said earlier, it does not have to be perfect. You are just trying to get the lines down. This is now the part where there's enough time. You still want to go fast because that is the point of the gesture. You still want to go fast, place your image down. But now, because of the time length being extended, you can now go in and shade and tweak what you can within the time length. But there's still, a certain amount of time because we don't want you to get lost in making it perfect. It does not have to be perfect. It just has to look good to the point where you're happy with it. It's about you and how you like it. Don't look at my stuff and think, oh, if it doesn't look like hers, then it's not good. No, that's not it. It doesn't matter. It's just about getting there's a specific terminology. It's about getting the mileage. You need to have the mileage of drawing hands, or just in general, just drawing. But especially if you want to master hands or whatever you're really struggling with in your art journey, you need to put in the mileage in practicing that. You can't be afraid. You'll have to eventually learn the anatomy someday. It's just currently not in this part of the class. We're doing basic shapes over here. But eventually down the line, yes, we'll have a anatomy portion. But it is simply about getting the shapes and getting them down as fast as possible. I tend to do, as you've seen, more noodle shapes. That's one thing that I have definitely been doing lately with getting my gesture down, is trying to mimic, or at least trying to remind myself to mimic the look of cartoon fingers, specifically like the roundness of like Steven Universe fingers, and how it's very loose, how you still know that they're fingers even though they're like little sausages. It's like getting the hand to look like that at certain angles, and then touching it up more with the semi-realistic look of what I'm trying to base my study on. This is all just study. This is all just practice. Just the general idea of drawing a hand and learning from it. The other way is, thinking of them as French fries. Just sticks and lines that you just draw in the placement. You don't have to draw the knuckles in the accurate spot. I don't. I personally don't like to draw the knuckle closest to the tip of the finger. I find that to be a very tedious bone to draw, or angle of the hand to draw. I normally keep it at the middle knuckle and move on from that, if that. Now this hand is a little bit more on the easier side because you can see the basic square shape. If you can draw a square like in a 3-dimensional shape, then boom, you have your hand. You just add the appendages to it. And then after that, it's lighting and shadow, depending on what you want to do. But that is also easy because all you have to do is think about it. Well, it could be difficult to you, but let's break it down to a simpler shape of basically you're just drawing cylinders and then you're shading those cylinders. And cylinders will always have a highlight, and then the sides will be in shadow, just one side darker than the other. So for shadows, you can see based upon the reference photo that there is a slight bounce light or reflectant light underneath the knuckles, where the knuckle joint is darker than the actual finger part that's curled underneath the hand or within the hand. And what you can simply just do for that is just shade lighter or have a lighter value color underneath, and then use your darker color to darken the shadow. Now a 10-minute one. Yeah, these are way too long for me. But I like to force myself to go through it. I'll be honest, I tend to stray away on these, or I'll cut it off. But I'll try to hold off as long as possible. I normally last between somewhere between 7 or 5, well, not even 7, 5 to 8 minutes on drawing or painting hands to this length of time. It is way too long. My goal when I'm drawing hands is not to have it in a realistic way. My goal is to have the basic understanding of the hand and shading and how that will look from it. I don't need to have the full realistic, hyper-realistic look of a hand mastered, because that's not going to be my goal when I paint. So what I recommend you guys think about is, what is your goal when it comes to drawing hands? And give yourself time to master them. What is your goal with studying hands using the Lineofaction app? Because that will be something that I will be asking you guys to do, because this is going to be an interactive course. It may not be live, but this is going to be an interactive course where I want you guys to at least learn what or at least, try to understand what I'm trying to get across. And with this is, I want you guys to understand the general shape and structure of a hand, to the point where you can feel comfortable drawing it, and then also gaining that repetition to where you have it as a part of your mental catalog, to where you can manage to draw and shade the simplest shapes of the hand. You'll understand how the hand will look if lighting hits it, if lighting doesn't hit it, of how the shapes of the finger can be, of the palm, things like that. I want you guys to understand that studying and repetition go hand in hand. The way that I learned how to draw hands was through repetition. I did this app. I used this app when I was doing the 500 hand challenge from Ahmed Al-Duri. And the 500 hand challenge helped so much. Draw 500 hands in a week. And to the point where I did twice. I tried to do it yearly. I missed last year, but I'm still want to do it again this year. But I will say, I drew hands from this app along with hands from Pinterest, and it was so helpful. I didn't do class mode. I simply just left it on the 2 or 5 minute section of the course, and I drew from there just to get the mileage. Now here, I'm getting tired. I'm like, what else is there to do? It was like, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff. I mean, that thumb looks weird a little bit, and that pinky looks like it could be fixed. But that's not necessarily my goal. I'll touch up on it, I think, a little bit later. But yeah. So here I'm just basically showing the simplified shapes that I had used to draw this hand, or specifically my thought process when I was drawing this hand, and how there will be a basic square for the palm, and then after that a cylinder for the wrist that connects directly from the palm, and then little noodle fingers or leaf kind of fingers to make up the rest of the hand. The same applies for the fist, and even more so for the fist, because you can see the obvious shape of the square with the fist. The thing, however, with the fist is that you got to remember that the palm kind of sticks out on the side of the pinky, especially when the fist is closed. You'll have this kind of spiral shape at the end. Also, if you are one of those people that draw fingernails, an easy shape for shorter nails is a D. It's a D in different forms or different angles, and all you do is just draw the actual appendage around the D, and boom, you have your fingernail on your finger. It's the final stretch, and congratulations, you guys did it. I know that last 10-minute one was probably a pain, but you guys did it. So I want you guys to be happy with your hands, regardless of what they look like or how you feel about them. I want you guys to be happy about them because you at least did it. Now, what I would like for you guys to do is start practicing and drawing hands on your own and using the draw the line app. So I also did more gestures here with more in mind of the noodle fingers. And I believe these were all 2-minute gestures where I was trying to get the motion down. And then, but visualizing the squares and how the appendages look. And that, you know, they're definitely just little round sausages or noodles at the end of this block. But once you have the basic shapes down for hands, shading becomes a lot easier because it is literally just following the guide of that shape. And once you have that shape down, you're well on your way to mastering hands.